mtu msaliti ni petro sheria mna kwao wazimu pia na hao furaha sio mfano ukabila ndio kwao hapo nishafika kweli na hakika kadiri ninashika furaha kwa lahiki ndio mashabiki maji kuziki mimi nafiki hit na dhiki muda mna wiki mimi na himziki split ni mukiki kutafuta ziki kwa makini mfululizo na njima na zili filmi
Don't you know we're talking about a revolution song.
I have been a guest to a few, I guess you will call them black conscious, black power type lectures. And before the speaker begins his lecture or his talk or her talk, many of them ask permission from the ancestors, may they speak. And the audience responds that the ancestors give them permission to speak. I will take that one step further by not only asking the ancestors for permission to speak, but I ask you, the living, those who can change the future. We cannot change the past, but we can change the future. I ask us who are alive, those of us who have hands, those of us who have brains, those of us who are living, that have the power to influence and change the direction of a future. I ask you also, may I have permission to speak? And I hope that you give me permission to speak before us and bring to us a message of reality. I am not here to convert you to nothing. This platform is for the simple liberation of a people from an oppressor. I'm not interested in changing your belief system or your political belief or whatever you believe. This platform simply wants you and I to be liberated from an oppressor. It's simple as that. I am not here to teach you anything. I am not here for you to follow me anywhere. I am looking for those who are willing to accept the reality of our situation and become a teammate in the securement of liberation, so that our future generations, perhaps even ourselves, we may enjoy a life outside of the influence of racism and slavery. So don't accuse me of wanting followers or anything of that nature, because here on this platform, the only follower you should be following is your brain. But you cannot follow your brain because we have not programmed ourselves properly. We are still in slave mode. You can holler black power all you want to. You are still in slave mode, and there's no sense to debate and argue over the issue, because your actions speak louder than words, and your actions, no matter how you scream black power or black conscious and I am awakened, your actions show that you are still in slave mode. Many of you claim that you are awakened. Being awakened does not mean anything, because you can be awake and still lay in your bed. And most of you, you are awake and you know that the sun is up. You hear the clock ringing, but you still lay in the bed. That is where the so-called Negro, the people of soul, that's where we find ourselves today. You are happy that you're awake, but you don't want to get out of bed. Because to get out of bed means that you have to assume full responsibility. You have to go to work. You have to get your children ready for school, whatever the task that you have before you for the day, you have to do those things. There is no God, there is no ancestor, there is nothing that is going to do that for you. You have to get off your ass and do what is necessary. And most of you would rather watch a video about somebody doing something instead of doing something yourself, because you are awake. I will agree with you, but you're still laying in the bed. In the bed with your bed bugs. Because you still scratching where you don't itch, complaining, hollering, and screaming, but you still don't want to do nothing to change your condition because you don't want to be alive. You're awake, but you still dead. You're still in the bed the same way somebody who is dead is laying in a casket. There is no difference between those who are awake and those who are in a casket. Because though the one who is in the casket can't do a damn thing, and the ones who call themselves awakened, you can't do a damn thing. Except pretend and talk a bunch of garbage. Which means nothing. Nobody is impressed by your talk. Except other dead people in your condition, because you are still a slave. If you was free, you would be so excited. You have so much energy. But you have no energy. And a dead person does not have a need for energy. One who is laying in the bed awakened, you have no need for energy because you're not doing a damn thing. It takes no real energy to talk. And some of you, you want to get up out of the bed, but you don't want to confess you really don't know what to do. And you don't want to get behind those who know exactly what to do, because you don't want to give another dark-skinned person any credit. You want to give credit to your God. You want to give credit to some political system or belief that got you laying in the damn bed. You can't get up. Your God can't even get you up out of the bed. Your belief can't even get you up out of the bed. Your belief is not even changing your condition. And there are thousands and thousands of you who believe in these certain ways, and you can't get up and do nothing. And you want to get angry at me because I'm showing you, and I'm not allowing you to come into the public arena, as they say in the soul community, flossing, flaunting, perpetrating a fraud. Those days should be over. You know why those days should be over? Those days should be over because you have children. You have babies that you claim you love. You and I. Even though myself, I don't have biological children, but as an adult, I have a responsibility for future generations so they don't have to travel in the mess that I had to travel in. I have a responsibility just being an adult, whether I have children or not. Thus the old African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So I'm part of the village. And your child, your boy, your girl, your teenagers, they my children too. But you are in the way of their having a better future. Because you laying in the damn bed just like the dead man is laying in the casket. I want to make something very clear also. There is confusion about me. There are those who believe they know me, but they really don't. In December, I will have been on social media 10 years. And from the very beginning, listen to me. From the very beginning, I never claimed to be black conscious. I never claimed to be African. I never claimed to be none of those things. I never screamed black power from the very, very beginning. I made it very clear the position of this ministry, what I call the realities temple on earth. I made it very clear. I am a pro-humanity channel, but my top priority is this people that I am birthed from, the so-called Negro, the African Americanist, the Negro, whatever you want to, we call ourselves, so many different names, it's confusing, who knows, black, whatever. But we are first. We are the number one priority. And I'm not saying that because you're black. This platform does not give a damn because you black, or you an African American, or you an African, or whatever you want to call ourselves. This platform steps up simply because we deserve justice. I am not saying to the world that we are special because we have dark skin. I'm not saying to the world that we are special because we are black. I'm not saying to the world we are special because we have melanin or we're African or nothing like that. I'm saying to the world we deserve justice. Pure and simple. No more, no less. So you cannot accuse me of racism because I'm not using black or African or none of these things as a reason to fight for the justice of a people who have been oppressed going on 500 years. You and our people deserve better because of this long period of unjustified suffering that we don't deserve. This mockery, exploitation, the evil words spoken against us. We have not done nothing to no one. People use us as a victim. The parasites that feed off our blood, they taking advantage of our poor condition. So if you think or you believe that I'm supposed to be fighting or standing with you for the black, then you need to go somewhere else. If you think that I'm supposed to be standing up for you because I'm supposed to be some African, you need to go somewhere else. I'm fighting for us because we need to find our own unique self in the world, and justice needs to be given to these who have been denied justice for a long, long time. No more, no less. I made very clear in the very beginning, this is a pro-humanity channel. And the number one priority is to heal this people called black. Now I understand what we used to call ourselves, soul. So I don't use that word black. I use the word soul, a word that we created to describe ourselves. Soul brothers and sisters. The number one priority is to heal us. And you must take care of your own house before you can think about other people. But the whole humanity is messed up all over this planet. But how can you heal others when you fail to heal yourself? So we must heal ourselves and be an example of a people who went from a slave to a human being to eventually what y'all call a God. And be examples of that. Not just talkers. Matter of fact, when it gets to that point, people can see that you are different. You don't have to say, well, I'm a human being. I'm a God. Those looking at you can tell something is different about those people. So the intent is to find our uniqueness. And when you find your uniqueness, you will find your humanity. Thus you will rise to that stature where you earn that title of God, where you earn that title of king and queen. Matter of fact, I would void that title of king and queen because we don't need nobody special. King and queens are rulers and they become special. They are different. We are all the same. We are talking about equality. So there's no more of this king and queen garbage. And then when these people become corrupt, they begin to destroy the human nature that we all have fought so long for. No more of I'm rich and I'm poor. All this classism and I'm better because I'm a man. I'm better because I'm a woman. All that stuff needs to be destroyed. Many of you are liars. You claim that you want freedom, justice, and equality, but you really don't. You want somebody, and you prefer that you be the superior over somebody else. That's the reality of it. That is not what I represent. I represent justice for all. I don't care if you Caucasian. I don't care if you Chinese. I don't care what you are. Justice for all. Freedom for all. Everybody is equal. So that means if there is 3 cakes, 1 cake for you. There's 3 people, 3 cakes. 1 cake for you, 1 cake for you, 1 cake for you. If there's 3 cakes and there's 7 people, then we cut the cakes up evenly so everybody can be equal and have a portion. But that's not really what y'all want. Y'all want to be superior. You want to be better. That's your problem. That's why you can't understand or comprehend where I'm coming from, because you are trapped in some type of ism, racism, classism, sexism, some ism. Give me a plate of ism. I don't want your plate of ism. Sick of it. All of us should be sick of it. But we need to get ourselves straight as dark-skinned people. Learn how to love ourselves and accept the uniqueness that we have been given. This earth is diverse. It's not about black. It's not about Caucasian. When you look at nature, nature is diverse in this reality. All these suckers on this planet, these dumbass human beings, trying to make everybody to be like what they are. That's stupid as hell, and it's not going to happen because that's just not the way of nature. Everybody is different. You can come from the same mother, but you and your brother and your sisters, all of you are not the same. But y'all all came from the same mother, had the same father. You are all different. That's the reality. That's what we live in. How boring it would be for everybody to be like me. I don't want everybody to be like me. I enjoy going to different places. People speak different languages and they eat differently and do different things. That's a wonderful thing. In the animal world, you have cats. There are all types of cats. But they know their purpose. You don't know your purpose. You don't understand who you are. That's your primary problem. You don't know where you fit in life because you have been dead going on 500 years. Matter of fact, your very creation was death. Death and evil is what created you. That's why you don't understand life. That's why the Negro don't understand life. That's why you way out in space somewhere. But keep coming here, because justice has arrived. Justice is here. You keep asking God to answer your prayers. Well, God has been answering your prayers, and you reject his messengers. You reject her messengers. You reject the answers and the gifts that the universe gives to you, because you just don't understand, because you are a slave. And a slave, a dead man, A slave has a dead mind. The dead cannot comprehend life. So if you want me, or you believe that I'm some type of black conscience, black power, whatever this stuff, I'm not those people. That's why you make a mistake when you try to put me in that category, because that is not what I represent. I am not that. Makes no difference. I may agree with certain persons on certain points, but that is not what this rostrum represents. It would be better for you to just leave me alone, because your mind, you're a slave. A slave cannot comprehend freedom, and this mind is free. I can't even begin to describe to you how I feel, how I look at things, because my mind is liberated not only from the things that the European has taught, but the things that these so-called black scholars and black teachers, that's messed us up also. I call it the second death. And there are many who will concur with the things that I say. They know that those so-called black power teachers that's supposed to give you some type of identity, in fact, put you to sleep again where you was awake, and it made you lie right back down, comfortable. Now you've gotten comfortable in your casket. You think that these teachings, these scholars or whatever, is supposed to impress me. You have no vision. You have no creativity. You're going nowhere. It's thousands of you, and y'all can't do a damn thing. Explain that to me. It's thousands of you. If you tell me you black, if you tell me you African, if you tell me you Muslim or Negro or a citizen of America and all this stuff that y'all off into, then the only thing you're telling me is you are a slave. And a slave cannot comprehend reality, because the only reality is what your massa give you. A slave is one who benefits his or her massa. There is no other life outside of what massa presents to you. And that's what you are, a slave. The only difference is you don't want the pink man, you don't want the Caucasian man to be your slave master. You looking for another slave master with dark skin. You go find your slave master. Don't try to send me to a plantation. I'm not interested in your plantation. I am looking to be liberated 1000% from an oppressor, whether that oppressor is Caucasian, whether that oppressor is Chinese or Indian or whatever that oppressor is. You no good for me. That oppressor is God. I'm not going to serve you, God. I'm sorry. I will respect you, but I'm not going to serve you. I'm not going to do that. The time for slavery is over. I would rather go out of existence. I would rather be dead. I'm not serving nobody. Not going to do it. Here you are telling me how awakened you are. Black conscience, black power. And you talking about African and black. Those are terms and labels that came from racists. And you're embracing and rallying around things that's connected to racism, the very thing that put you in the condition that you're in. And then from your own mind, we begin to call ourselves the people of soul. Make up hand shakes and gestures. Soul brothers and sisters. But you don't want that. It comes from your mind. It ain't good enough. I want to be an Egyptian. I want to be of Kemet. I want to be an African. I want to be a Hebrew Israelite. And all this other stuff that you don't have nothing to do with. Here you are. You create from your own mind, from your own breast, coming from your own womb. You bring this thing called soul. And even your oppressor, woo, even your oppressor, those people got soul. They never said that about people in Haiti. They don't say that about people in Nigeria or Gambia or Niger or Liberia or anywhere. The only people of soul that we know of is those who are called African American, the Negro, black. Soul belongs to you and you don't even want it, and you created it because you think what other people got is better. But then at the same time, some of y'all make mockery of Dr. King because of his position on integration or whatever, because the ice that soul people create ain't good enough. It's not cold enough. The white man or the Caucasian man's ice is better. It's colder than. You want to make mockery, but here you are, created your own, bringing in your own uniqueness, and you don't want it. Some of you make mockery, the ghetto names. The names are not ghetto. This is what you're supposed to do. You're trying to find yourself. You want to be yourself. You don't want to be part of what other people. You're showing your own creativity. That's what free people do. You don't want to be free. You want to be somebody's damn slave. I love Shaniqua. I love Little Ray Ray, whatever these so-called ghetto names, because that's us. Well, you see, they know who you are anyway. When they see that black face and here you are with a European name, it don't make any difference. They still going to do whatever the hell they're going to do. They're going to eventually find out and see that you are black. So what? So what? That's their problem. That's their sickness. That's their disorder. Why are you trying to work with somebody who damn sick? Who gives a damn? And if you come into your own, you create your own jobs, build your own schools, do your own thing, and eventually get the hell away from these wicked, silly, insane people. Whew. Man. Can I have a little bit more time? I sure would appreciate it. You don't want to embrace the uniqueness of yourself. What is your problem? That's why you don't understand me. Because I want to be me. I don't want to be somebody else I have never been. I want us to be who we are. What are you ashamed of? Black history started in Egypt. That's a lie. Black history started when the racists created a black man. There was no black man until the racists created him, created us on the plantations of this country. That's when it started. Our beginning was that of a slave. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem and what's wrong with it, if we continue to be a slave and don't evolve, that's when it becomes a problem. You was not, I was not, we was not born standing up. We was not born doing algebra and calculus and driving a car. We had to grow and mature and evolve into that. So what? We started off as a slave. Who cares? So what? But you want to know something? But look, here we are as a people. Well, see, that's another thing. We have not become a people. We must become a people first. We are called black people, but we are not a people. We keep talking about a black community, but there is no real black community. Because if there was a black people and a black community, these leeches and these suckers could not do what they do to us and take advantage of us in our own neighborhoods, in our own communities. But they do because we are not united. We do not commune. There is no community. And that's because we're scattered. I don't mess with them. That's them black Muslims. I don't mess with them They believe in Jesus. See how messed up you are. And other people take advantage that you and I are crazy. Simple as, that's simply put. So we don't have to go ring around the roses. We are insane because here you are, a slave, pretending that you're living free. That's why we're catching hell. You're a slave pretending to be free. You don't know what it is. Nobody can take advantage of a free person, but you can take advantage of a slave. What is a slave? Who is a slave? A slave is him or her, their life benefits their massa. All you know. I'm not frustrated and I'm not angry with us because all we have ever known is slavery. We don't know nothing else except slavery. Well, I'm free. I don't know about you, Negro. I was free. I don't know about you. I got a good job. I got a degree on the wall. I got a $500,000 house. Oh man, you don't know I'm free. You would not know freedom if it walked right up to you and slapped you in your face. You would not know freedom. How would you know it? You never been free. Our ancestors, our people were slaves, and they was just let go. And they're not free. Let me explain to you what freedom really is. I'm going to give us some examples. I'm going to show you that you're a slave. And whether you like it or not, I don't care. It makes no difference whether you like it or not. That's the reality of it. If you are a slave, what can you teach your children since you never been free? Since the black man and woman in this country, since we've never been free, and I'm going to explain to you what freedom really is. What can a slave teach their children? A slave can only teach their children how to be a better slave. A slave cannot teach their children how to be free because that slave cannot teach their babies what they do not know, what they have never experienced. That's the bottom line. I'm going to give you a quick example. Excuse me. It's hot. But that's all right. I love the heat. I'm used to the heat. I was born in hell. So what? So what? It's a little hot. Keep rolling. I'm going to use your domesticated dog because your domesticated dog is nothing but a slave. That's right, a slave. A dog has no business living in your house. A dog has no business walking down the street with a leash around that dog's neck. That dog, that animal, that fish, whatever it is that you got trapped in your house, talking about it's a pet, it's a slave. And I must remind you that the so-called Negro, the black people of this nation, we was treated the same way. I saw pictures where the massa was walking a slave on a leash. You was done the same way. Then you're going to turn right around and you're going to put a dog or a cat. Well, cats don't like leashes. But you're going to put a fish in a jar. Here you are. We was treated like a pet, like an animal. And you're going to turn around and do the same thing. And get angry with me when I show you that you're doing the same thing to this dog or to this snake or to this frog. You're doing the same thing to those animals, the same thing that was done to us as a people. And you don't see nothing wrong with that because you copying your massa. Slave mentality. You think freedom is doing everything that your massa do. So when you get rich, you want to do the same thing with your money, the same thing that you see massa do. Massa buy a big house, He got 3 swimming pools on his property, a lot of service. You want to do the same thing. You get rich, you want to do the same thing as your massa, but you claim to be free, but you copying, you're not using your mind to determine what being rich is. You're copying your slave massa, but you're free. So let's go back to our dog. I have no problem with dogs. I like dogs. I like all animals. I don't want a dog living in my house. I don't want a fish in a jar. I want that fish in a lake or a pond so that fish can enjoy their life, as well as that dog returning back to that dog's wolf state and enjoying their life. I don't want to see animals in the zoo. I want to see the whale in the ocean. I want to see the dolphin in the ocean. I want to see the bear in the forest. That's where I want to see these animals. I don't want to see them as slaves. But let's take your dog. I want to show you that you are still a slave by using the dog as an example. Now, the dog is living in your house, just like we live with Caucasian people. And we have been living with Caucasian people going on 500 years. You have dark skin, you have a broad nose, many of us do, some of us don't. Thick lips, some of us don't. See, that's another thing. We talk about black folks. You want all of us to be the same. We are not the same. There are light-skinned, so-called black folks, dark-skinned. Some of us have big noses, some of us have small noses, some of us have big lips, some of us have thin lips. It's a variety even in us as a people, but you want to put us all in under one umbrella, believe in all the same stuff, do all the same thing. That's not a reality. That's not real. It's not going to happen. Life is diverse. Even among things that are similar or look the same, there is diversity. Nobody is the same. The only one who wishes to make things the same is a slave owner. I want things my way. Because they need their servants to behave and act in a certain way to serve them in the best manner. I'm not looking for slaves. And you should not be looking for slaves either. Now let's go back to the dog. Okay, so the dog lives in your house. So one day you look at the dog, I'm sick of this animal, and you kick the dog out. That is what might happen to the Negro in America. You love and want to be around pink people and Caucasian people, but one day they might just get sick of it, sick of us, and kick you out. Then what you gonna do? Or they can't kick us. What you gonna do to stop them? If these Caucasian people wanted to put all of us in concentration camps right now, what you gonna do? What you gonna do to stop them? Except run your mouth. I don't want to go to the concentration. Of course you don't want to go to the concentration camp. Do you think that Jewish people wanted to go to the concentration camp? Nobody want to go to the electric chair. Nobody want to go to concentration camp. Nobody want to go to the gas chamber. It ain't about what you gonna do. That's why they call it, we're forcing you to do it. And you laugh and you believe that something like that won't happen to you. And Jewish folks did the same thing. Next thing you know, they opened up, they woke up, and they was in an oven, burning the hell up. But see, a slave mind, you don't take things seriously, and you and I are like that dog. We have tunnel vision. when somebody put that biscuit, that bone in front of our face, that's all thing that you see. You don't see the fact that your massa got a gun in the back of your head getting ready to blow your brains out. You just tripping off the biscuit, the bone or whatever. You think that you're going to eat and enjoy. You don't know. That dog don't know that's your last meal. Because you getting ready to get put down. We are in a situation where anything can happen and somebody can be put down. You don't want to accept that reality. You don't understand that reality because we still have a slave mind. Now, even some of y'all awakened people understand that that is possible. So I do give that to you. But you just awake. You still laying in the bed. You're not willing to take any kind of action. So what difference do it make that you awaken and you know? If you know these things, but don't do nothing about it, so what? It defeats the purpose. So what you know? So you have a dog, and you kick this dog out of the house. Now the dog is just not going to leave. The dog going to turn right back around, hang around your door, scratch on the door, all this old stuff, and you got to go out with a broomstick, kick the dog in the ass, and force the dog to leave. Okay, so now the dog has no choice but to fend for him or herself or die. The dog can either become independent or the dog can die. There is only two choices. The dog learns how to take care of him or herself. And this is when the dog becomes, they say, feral. The dog is not wild. But the dog is not domesticated. It's sort of in between lives. And then the dog might find other dogs that are feral and they begin to reproduce or whatever. But those original dogs, they still carry the fact that they were domesticated living in somebody's house. And they cannot, it's still a part of them. And that's a problem. That's a problem when you are trying to become independent, because you still have a feeling, or you still want to be dependent. You still want to go around and be around massa. You still want to go get food from his table. And that's not good. However, as time goes on, and the babies, see, the babies don't know nothing about massa. The parents know about domestication. They know about the dog biscuit. They know about being walked on a leash. But the babies don't know nothing about this. So they are disconnected from slavery. And they are not taught. They don't know nothing about it. They don't know nothing about being a pet. So the babies become wild. The babies begin to return back to what the dog's supposed to be by nature. And the only reason why the babies can become, or they can return back to what a dog's supposed to be by nature, is because the connection to massa is 1000% broken. When a prisoner escaped from jail, I'm getting ready to wrap this up. Hold on now. I'm going to make this point. And I have been making the point to show us that we are still slaves. When a prisoner escapes, they are considered free. I broke out of prison. I am free. However, a prisoner does not feel free as long as some of those chains, the shackles, are on him or her. You free, but you know you are not free. You have to get, I mean, you can do everything with shackles. You can eat, you can drive a car, you can do a whole lot of things. You free. But see, the shackles that's still on you It's symbolism reminding you that you really are not free and that you are a prisoner. So in order to even begin to think that I'm free, the prisoner has to get those shackles and get those chains off of him or her. You got to get that off. You must remove, in order to be a free person, you must remove all the symbols and any connection that you have to those who imprison you. Then you can feel free. And that's your problem. That's our problem. That's why you cannot call yourself free. That's why to talk about I'm free, you are telling a damn lie. Because if you was free, you would be free of the ones who imprison you. You still have shackles. You have a dark-skinned body running around here with a European name. You act European, you talk European, everything about you is European except your skin color, your physical attributes. But you free. How are you free when you're acting like your slave master? In order to be free, you must disconnect yourself from that which imprison you. And the same thing goes with these slave-making teachings, so-called black scholarship. You are nothing but a slave, except now you have a dark-skinned slave master. You want to be something that you are not. Instead of looking toward the future, you want to go back into the past that you never lived. Just as bad as being with the slave master. So in order to be free, we must disconnect ourselves from a slave master, whether that slave master is a pink or whether that slave master has dark skin. Now, the difference between the dark-skinned slave master and the pink slave master is at least the dark-skinned slave master had good intent. They want you to be free. They want you to get up out of oppression. Sometimes I can't say that with all these people, because some of these suckers definitely want you to be their slave. Some of them just want you to be out from under an oppressor. Some of them just want you to be, and when it comes to black scholarship, black power, unapologetically black, all of it has a connection to the slave master. Black is a label created by racists. African is a label created by racists. There is no dark-skinned people on this planet that ever called themselves black or African. None. But here you are carrying that label. You know why? Because you have not, because you're still connected to your slave master. Umar Johnson is a slave. Sarah Sutanseti is a slave. Sarnetta is a slave. Brother Larry is a slave. All these people that y'all talking about, all of these, if you talking about you black and African and all this other stuff, you connected to your slave master. That's something that you don't want to accept. But that's the reality of it. And you get angry at me because, well, first of all, a dark-skinned person can't tell you a damn thing. That goes to show you. I wonder sometimes, is it my message that is the problem, or is it the fact that I'm dark-skinned? Because some of you know damn well you have a problem with dark skin. A black man can't tell you nothing. And that's just the bottom. That's the reality of it. I wonder if a lighter-skinned brother or sister said the same thing, I wonder how you would react to them. But that goes to show you, we still suffer that sickness. And many of you are loyal to your belief system. You think that, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. when you are when it has been pointed out that you have error and you have flaw, you should accept that, but you don't. I was watching a video where a Christian pastor used the Quran to show black Muslims that what they was talking about was wrong. And the black Muslims, see, this is you. And the black Muslims say, I'm still going to believe what I believe, even though it was pointed out and really clear that what they believed in was wrong. Because either Elijah Muhammad was right or the Quran is right. I'm going to believe Elijah. He pointed out, the Christian preacher pointed out in the Quran that Elijah Muhammad was wrong. And also remember that Elijah Muhammad uses the Quran as a guide. See, y'all, oh wow. Time is running out for you. Time is not going to wait for us. It's not going to wait. It is my purpose. It is my mission. As long as I have breath, to try to get this, make this point to us. You got to change. Like my brother J.T. Riley always said, that old way of nigga ain't working. You know it's not working. Y'all just don't want to admit. Just like those black Muslims, they don't want to admit. I'm going. You want to put a round peg in a square hole. It's going to work one day. That's your mentality. We must liberate our minds. We must remove ourselves, of course, from the lies and the deception of the European. There's no doubt about that. I know that y'all will agree with me on that point. But you don't want to, because you think that you got it going on with this black scholarship stuff. It's nothing but racism. That's all that it is. Unapologetically black. Black power. All that stuff is nothing but a response due to racism, and it is connected to racism, so you still have a connection to your slave master. You will never be free until you disconnect from your slave master and connect to freedom. Connect to this universe. And the universe has no color. The universe don't give a damn that you are Nigerian, or you are Mandinka, or you Somalian, or none of that kind of stuff. The only thing the creation, the universe, is concerned about, if the universe was human, is something that we call impersonification, which gives human attributes to that which is not human, because the universe is not human. A tree is not human. A rock is not human. But we give attributes. You know, a dog is not human. It's called impersonification. But the universe is not interested in these things. The universe is only interested in life. Are you going to live, or are you going to die? That's the only choices we have in this reality. And we will not live forever as individuals, but we might have an opportunity to live a very long time as a species. At this moment in time, I don't give a damn if you Caucasian, black, Asian. All of humanity is in bad shape. And we are on a path to self-extinction. And when you have a hurricane, when you have an earthquake, and when you have natural disasters, that's just going to be the frosting on top of the cake. You done all the you and I, we have done all the work ourselves to destroy self. Y'all can't let go of racism. You have to disconnect. You have to disconnect yourself from all forms of racism. All these things. I'm a black Muslim. I'm a black Hebrew Israelite. I'm an African. All this stuff is because of racism. You have to disconnect yourself. You cannot fight fire with fire. You have to put this sucker out. This is not a forest fire. You have to put this stuff out. How are you going to put racism out? By practicing racism, because that's all that it is. It's a form of racism. And when you talk, you sound just like anybody from the Ku Klux Klan. You sound like the United States government. That's what you sound like. Let it go. We need to begin to understand ourselves. Understand our own unique self. Let all of it go. Liberate your mind. There's nothing wrong with it. Stop listening to these people who want to sell you books and DVDs. You don't need a book or a DVD to connect yourself to life. Where was the book and DVD when you was born? There was none. You don't need no book or DVD or some special divine person in order to live. You caught up in all this insanity. That's why they won't unite with me. That's why they don't want nothing to do with me. Because if the people embrace what I say, you can't sell no books. You can't sell no DVDs. Nobody special. Nobody divine. There's nothing divine about me. I'm just your little brother offering free advice and suggestion. You don't owe me nothing at all. People ask me for DVDs. They ask me for books. That's not what I'm about. I want you to be free, liberated. Don't depend on me. Find the uniqueness in yourself. Learn who you are. And let's work as a team. Let's work as a team. Let's work as a team and build a real community. And if we can't get justice in this nation, then we use our teamwork to get the hell out of Dodge. At least our children. And our children will never know. They will be truly free because they will never know nothing about racism at all. So at least let us free our babies. That's the least you can do.